Welcome to History AI, where we bring history to life through AI. Today we are looking at one of the most pivotal battles in English history, the Battle of Agincourt. So buckle up as we dive into this chapter of history. Henry V was crowned in 1413 amidst domestic turbulence, aimed to strengthen his rule through military achievements. Seeking legitimacy and asserting control, he turned to France ripe for conquest given its internal disarray and the friction among the French nobility. His claim on the French throne, grounded in historical disputes, provided an ideal pretext for invasion. The renewal of the 100 Years' War by Henry began with the Siege of Harfleur in August 1415. Despite superior French numbers, the port's strategic significance necessitated its capture. This 5-week endeavour, though successful, severely strained Henry's forces. Disease thinned his ranks, which shaped subsequent decisions critically. Faced with a dwindling but still capable force, Henry embarked towards Calais, intent on securing a foothold for safe return to England. The English tactical withdrawal towards Calais, however, morphed into a relentless pursuit by a rejuvenated French army, eager to confront a weakened adversary. At Agincourt, the confined terrain, a narrow strip sandwiched between woods, neutralised the French numerical advantage, constraining their ability to manoeuvre. Henry's strategic placement of troops, predominantly longbowmen, capitalised on the ploughed fields turned muddy from recent rains, stymieing the French forces clad in heavy armour and on horseback. Central to English triumph was the longbow, a tool that dealt devastation from a distance and repelled French cavalry even before lines clashed. By the time French foot soldiers traversed the mud to reach English lines, they encountered not just arrows, but also a barricade of stakes designed to disrupt offensive surges. This multi-layered defence induced chaos within the French ranks, culminating in a panicked and disorganised assault. Victory at Agincourt held significant military and political implications. It emboldened England, adorned Henry V with renown, and compromised French morale and stability. Subsequent negotiations led to the Treaty of Troyes in 1420, which recognised Henry V as the heir to the French throne, signifying a temporary ascendancy in English fortunes and altering the course of Franco-English relations. The configuration of forces at Agincourt epitomised medieval military strategy juxtaposed with innovative tactics, particularly by the English. Henry V skillfully arrayed his troops to make full use of the narrow battlefield flanked by dense woods, a layout that inherently restricted the French cavalry and minimised the impact of their superior numbers. At the heart of the English deployment were the archers, wielding the longbow, a formidable weapon that lent a substantial advantage even when outnumbered. These archers were positioned in a wedge formation on the flanks, with stakes driven into the muddy ground at an angle before them. This was not merely defensive, but a provocative challenge to the cavalry. Any horse daring to charge would be impaled, disrupting any organised advance and throwing the enemy into disarray. The English men-at-arms and knights, armoured more lightly than their French counterparts, formed the core of the line. This central force was pivotal if the battle descended into hand-to-hand combat, a scenario Henry prepared for by integrating the archers as multi-dimensional soldiers who could switch from long range to close combat when needed. The French, led by Constable Charles d'Albret, arrayed themselves traditionally, confident that their armoured knights and mounted charges would once again dominate. The reality of the terrain, muddied by recent rains, betrayed this expectation. The heavily armoured French soldiers found themselves hampered in movement and perfect targets for the rain of arrows descending upon them. Moreover, Henry strategically positioned his troops at the start of the battle out of range of the French artillery, forcing the French to move toward him. As they advanced, they struggled against the muddy, ploughed field that both slowed their progress and formed a chaotic crowding of men and horses, making them even more vulnerable to the English tactics. This orchestration of archery, terrain management and psychological warfare exemplified a shift towards modern military thinking. Henry V's leadership utilised the strength of the longbow to its maximum effect and also demonstrated an acute understanding of how landscape and troop formation could be pivotal to warfare. This multifaceted approach led to a monumental victory and significantly shifted the methods of engagement in medieval warfare. In the immediate aftermath of the Battle of Agincourt, the English victory lingered over the battlefields and halls of power in both England and France. With a significant portion of the French aristocracy fallen, the political equilibrium in France was markedly destabilised. The loss of high-ranking nobles did not merely signify a tragic depletion of familial lines, but also created a vacuum in military and administrative spheres, amplifying disarray and weakening structured resistance. For France, the staggering death toll of an estimated 6,000 those, predominantly among the nobility, fundamentally impacted its feudal structure. This catastrophe stunted France's potential for quick recovery or rallying robust defiance against English pressures in the ensuing years. In contrast, the substantially lower English casualties, reportedly around several hundred, underscored a calculated yet bold tactical approach led by Henry V. This particular victory transformed Henry V into an emblematic figure of valour and tactical genius within England. His leadership henceforth was acknowledged and celebrated, inseminating a renewed vigour in English claims over French territories. National morale soared as Henry was perceived as a victorious leader with divine favour. This win repositioned Henry from the shadows of usurpation doubts to the spotlight of undeniable ancestral and divine right. Consequently, this paved the path to the Treaty of Troyes in 1420, an agreement unparalleled in its implications. Under this treaty, Henry was betrothed to Catherine of Valois, Charles VI's daughter, solidifying a union that promised peace but substantively realised English ascendancy over the French crown. The treaty recognised Henry as the heir to the French throne and designated him as regent, thereby capacitating him to exercise control over France in a capacity previously unimaginable. In retrospect, Agincourt reshaped Anglo-French histories meritoriously. Its ramifications echoed through subsequent military strategies, international law, and regal politics, influencing the landscape beyond mere territorial expansions. Though predominantly reviewed as a military triumph, its essence capillarized through the socio-political veins of both domains, rearranging conventional feudal hierarchies and stoking nationalistic and monarchistic ideologies which etched deeply into the collective consciousness of both nations, transcending centuries. As the dust of battle settled, the echoes of Agincourt resonated through the courts and countryside of England and France, and within the annals of historiography and literature, culminating perhaps most famously in William Shakespeare's dramatisation. Both immediate and subsequent accounts have sculpted the contours of Agincourt, often magnifying its legendary stature while obscuring the granular truths of military strategy and human sacrifice. Contemporary chronicles, primarily composed by monks and scribes aligned with English and French political agendas, offer a spectrum of interpretations. The Gesta Henrici Quinti, purportedly by an English chaplain present at the battle, celebrates the victory as divinely ordained, spotlighting Henry's pious resolve and martial valour. In contrast, French narrations, embodied by chroniclers such as Monstrelet, portray the battle as a misfortunate alignment of arrogance, poor command, and adverse conditions, rather than a sneering indictment of French chivalry. This divergence in contemporaneous accounts sets a foundational stage for a multi-century account contest between heroic gloss and critical, often cynical deconstruction. The potency of these tales was such that they inform posterity in a manner glittering with both the extravagance of heraldic lore and the sombre shadows cast by the retellings of loss and calamity. The immortalisation of Agincourt within Shakespeare's Henry V further complicated the historical vista with a piercing theatricality that both inflated and enchanted the image of Henry V and his famed victory. Here lies a dramatic rendition where rhetoric splendidly exaggerates, crafting an enduring mythos. The beleaguered yet unbroken king delivering the St. Crispin's Day speech, an exemplar of morale prowess, conjuring a will to conquer among his men, and stirring national pride in audiences centuries subsequent. Yet, with the lyrical grace of Shakespeare's quill, the potential misreading of Agincourt grew. The play's emphasis on noble heroism and overt moral clarity often overshaded the stark brutalities and nuanced diplomacies that prefaced and followed the clash. As enduring as the bard's words are, their historical accuracy unsurprisingly yields to artistic license, rendering the play an imperfect, if culturally precious, historical document. Modern historians equipped with forensic methodologies and critical theories strive deeper, peering beyond these storied versions. Recent archaeological surveys and military analyses attempt to peel back layers of legend to reveal firmer grounds. A terrain bogged not merely by mud, but by the weight of thousands of lives lost and an emergent geopolitical landscape forever altered by the outcomes of October 25, 1415. While Agincourt's mythic halo endures, powered by accounts historical and fictional, the pursuit of factual fidelity continues as scholastic diligence challenges long-standing myths or verifies obscure facts. These efforts forge to reset veritable historicizations and resonate fundamentally with the captivation inherent in identifying how a single day's battle swayed centuries. The Battle of Agincourt is not just a tale of military triumph, but a significant turning point that redefined Anglo-French relations and influenced the course of European history. The astute leadership of Henry V and his innovative use of the longbow at Agincourt remain critical in understanding the evolution of warfare and political power during this era. This pivotal battle showcased the potency of strategic thinking, innovative weaponry, and the profound impact a single engagement could have on the trajectory of nations.